A lot of pro-choice people argue that pro-life people are not pro-life at all. We're just pro-birth because we don't care about the quality of kids, or because we don't care about the quality of life a child receives once born. Because what about the kids in foster care? What about the kids waiting to be adopted? Personally, I'm all for adoption and foster care reform, and I would love to explore that possibility of adoption or foster care someday when I'm married and out of college. However, those are two separate issues. The moral question of how do we ensure the safety and well-being of children in the womb is a separate question from how do we ensure the safety and well-being of children that are already born. It's totally possible to fight for both causes. In fact, I don't know how one could be passionate about children in the womb, but also be complacent with their well-being once they're born. In regards specifically to abortion, the science of embryology has concluded that from the earliest stages of development, you were a distinct, unique, living human being. Development is not and should not be equated with worth. Is a 3-month-old baby developmentally different from a 13-year-old teenager? Absolutely. But is their worth in regard to their right to live different? Absolutely not. Therefore, the right to live should not be contingent upon viability in the womb. Beyond development, there is no essential difference between the embryo that we once were and the human, whole, living, purposeful, fully developed human beings that we are now. Therefore, differences in size, development, environment, and degrees of dependency are not a permissible basis to deny the right to life. Legally speaking, abortion is hypocritical. There was a federal law, it passed in 2004 in the United States, called the Unborn Victims of Violence Act. This law recognizes that an embryo or fetus as a legal victim if they are injured or killed during the commission of over 60 federal crimes. Additionally, 38 states validate an unborn child as the victim of a crime if a fetus dies while its pregnant mother is killed or injured. I haven't seen anyone argue against that. So if a baby has legal personhood in these circumstances, why is their legal personhood then revoked in the context of abortion? In terms of reading and watching, I highly recommend checking out WebMD, which I believe Carlos will post that link here in a moment, a link that shows fetal development week by week. I also recommend checking out the National Association for the Advancement of Preborn Children, because they have an article describing the testimony of highly respected doctors before a U.S. Senate committee. They unanimously agreed that life starts at conception and explained why. As Jenny and Barbara said, the movie Unplanned is also fantastic, and it's based on true events from Abby Johnson, who was a Planned Parenthood director, had 2 abortions herself, and eventually became a pro-life advocate. However, I will warn that it's a very mature movie, so some scenes could be considered graphic, yet they can't be skipped in order for the movie to make sense. For that reason, personally, I would keep the audience to... It's 2021, post-COVID, how much can we ask for? Because the Unplanned movie is or could be considered graphic, I would keep the audience to adults and maybe older teens who are mature and have an understanding of the topic. I also recommend doing some research on Anthony Levatino. He is a board-certified OBGYN who was pro-choice and performed over 1,000 abortions, and he's now a pro-life advocate. Finally, I recommend looking at abortionprocedures.com, all one word, for an educational look at how abortions are performed at various stages of a pregnancy, explained by an OBGYN. Of course, it's an animated picture, but I will warn that viewer discretion is advised because, like the Unplanned movie, it gets very mature very quickly. And on that website, they also elaborate regarding the question of, is abortion ever medically necessary?